2020 has been quite a ride for Fortnite, a fresh new chapter with new weapons, items, and gameplay mechanics that I don't think anyone expected. And while we may not have expected them, a lot of people may not have liked some of these changes, so today we break down the 10 most hated Fortnite updates of 2020. And before I get absolutely flamed into the ground, these aren't all my opinions, but just the way the community reacted to this stuff, so if you disagree, feel free to comment your own list or upvote someone else's. But coming in at number 10, we have the pumps being vaulted in Season 5. The pump shotgun is probably one of the most iconic weapons in Fortnite history, and if you told any person who played the game to name their favorite gun, most of us would probably say pump. It's just symbolic at this point, and it's been with us since day one. We had the double pump tactic back in the day, and then the new epic and legendary versions in the later seasons. We've just been through a lot with it, and that's why it was so frustrating when Epic took it out of the game in Season 5. We had only just got it back last season, and it's gone again. Why, Epic? I'm just glad we have the tac in the meta, because I don't know how I'd feel if it was just the charged shotguns this season. I'm just shuddering at that thought. And speaking of the season we all kinda hate, number 9, aggressive NPCs. Chapter 2 has been a great way for Epic to test out the NPCs that we have around the map right now. But the first prototypes of the NPCs were just insane. First, we had the henchmen around the map in the early seasons, and they were pretty annoying to deal with. And I say annoying, but that's an understatement.
Are you kidding me? What?
This tweet is 50% a joke, 50% serious. Fortnite bans FaZe Jarvis permanently for hacking, yet has hundreds of these little running around every single game. This is broken.
Then we had the Marauders in Season 3, and boy oh boy, these guys were just plain obnoxious. I mean, they were such a tedious thing to deal with and got in the way all the time. You'd be left with like a small amount of health and ammo after being chased by them across the map. It was even worse because they dropped guaranteed stink bombs, which are some of the most overpowered items that Fortnite has ever seen, let's be honest. And just when we thought we were in the clear, no more henchmen, no more Marauders, Epic brings us Season 5. Now we have IO guards. Seems like they're literally walking juggernauts with aimbot enabled. I mean, who decided to give these guys 400 shields each and a tactical assault rifle? They just tear through your builds instantly and appear out of nowhere. It's a headache. And yeah, they can be pretty exhausting to deal with, but it's not even the most broken thing Epic added this season. Let's talk about number 8, the Dragon's Breath shotgun. There were quite a few weapons added with Season 5, but the most interesting one in the loot pool right now is the Dragon's Breath shotgun. This thing was leaked for so long, and now that we've got it, it's kinda underwhelming. Anyone who got their hands on this shotgun knows that the range is absolutely terrible, which makes it kinda useless. Sure, it's a shotgun, but it has some of the worst range I've ever seen in a Fortnite weapon. At least now, with the new updated version of the shotgun, the gun is a little bit stronger, but only in those very tight situations. When it was first added though, we all hated this thing. I mean, I preferred a gray tack over it. I mean, look at it. Although we can't give all the terrible credit to Season 5 because last season brought us some insanely bad updates too. Let's check out number 7, the Fortnite Shadows. The expectations for Fortnite this year were pretty high, especially because of how fun the last ones were. We used to have a big Storm King boss battle, a ton of new Halloween skins, it was great. And then Season 4's Fortnite rolled out and yeah, I gotta admit, it was exciting seeing Shadow Midas in the game, but he didn't even add anything new and was kind of just like another henchman boss at the agency. The new Shadow feature was fun at first, but it got really annoying really quickly. You would just get so many shadows in one spot just killing everyone, and you didn't even get any rewards for killing the shadows. No shield, no health, just a few mats and ammo. So you were pretty much just left on your own, and I think that Nick A30 knows exactly what I'm talking about. He says it really well here.
Please let me go! If I hold on, guys, can you give me like 10 seconds to run away?
Yeah.
I'll be down. You promise? Okay, everybody back away. Everybody back away. Let me go.
But speaking of not getting rewards, it's time we move on to number 6 and cover the new exotic weapons. With Season 5, a brand new rarity was added into the game to pretty much replace mythic weapons. Now, NPCs will sell you exotic rarity weapons and items, and while the name sounds pretty flashy, the weapons aren't that good. I mean, it's a whole new rarity, something we rarely get, and unfortunately, no one really cares. It's a massive problem because this should be a much bigger deal. I mean, it's a new rarity weapon, and we all have to grind just to get it, and on paper it sounds really fun, but the weapons kinda suck. Maybe you don't believe me? Well, just take a look at the Boom Sniper.
100. I no-scoped him! Stuck! Dead! What? He's left? What? What? Wait! No. I no-scoped him.
Wait till you see the. No.
They cost so much gold to get, you only get it for one game, and you could literally just get sniped right after buying one and then just lose everything. And like I said, the guns, they're just not worth it. And on the topic of only getting things for one game, we need to talk about number 5, the removal of 100% chest spawn. Last season, Epic made one of the biggest and worst changes to Fortnite that I have seen in a long time. For some reason, they decided that the chest spawn around the island needed to change, and I don't know why, because 100% chest spawn was a great way to get a favorite drop and get a nice start to your match every time. But now that 100% chest spawn is gone, you could land somewhere and there could be no chest in sight. It's really annoying, and it kind of ruins the pacing of the game a lot. If there is one change I want reversing, it's probably this one. A lot of us would kill for 100% chest spawn to return. But from changes that ruined the game to items that broke it, we have to mention number 4, the flare gun. The flare gun was such an overpowered item when it arrived this year, and not just for one reason. For starters, the thing was a literal UAV. On top of that, you were also able to just spam flares into wooden builds and light the whole place on fire. I mean, you could even rocket ride these things. But it wasn't even the most annoying part of Season 3, I just have to talk about number 3, the Season 3 storyline, or kinda lack of. So for Season 2, we had the first introduction to the Chapter 2 storyline. We had Midas, Ghost for Shadow, Jules, and the Doomsday Device event. But after the event, and throughout all of Season 3, Epic completely abandoned the storyline. Remember Cyclo, this dude who was supposed to be like a big deal in the event or whatever? Well, there wasn't a Cyclo in the Device event at all. And Season 3 had no storyline content for the entire season. Siona and Dio were the center of our theory, where we thought that sending them home actually summoned Galactus, but it turned out they were completely worthless and irrelevant to the storyline. I'm not gonna lie, from someone who really likes the storyline, it was a really disappointing season, and I'm kinda glad that we're learning more about John Jones. It took long enough. But something that is taking way too long though is number 2, Fortnite Mobile being banned. Alright, it's safe to say so many people were affected by the Epic vs Apple feud. Fortnite Mobile getting completely banned was a huge upset to the community, especially considering that over a third of the entire Fortnite player base was on iOS. For some reason, there was this huge issue with Epic wanting Apple to take a smaller cut from V-Bucks, but the lawsuit is still going on and the next court case isn't scheduled until early next year. So we'll be waiting a long time to hear what's next for this. I mean, there is a good case on both sides, but it sucks that mobile users have to suffer for this long. And before we get to our number 1 most hated thing of 2020 though, we have some honorable mentions, starting with Coral Castle. I mean, just mentioning the name of this place, you already know what we all hate about it. Coral Castle was hyped up a lot in the weeks before its release, and it was teased as Atlantis. It was even called Atlantis in the files, with the fish stick guards being called Warriors of Atlantis. And so it's no surprise that we were all kind of disappointed when it finally came out. Not to mention that the POI itself just takes up a lot of space on the island, but has nothing special to offer. And I guess another thing that doesn't really offer much is honorable mention number 2, Unusable Cars. When Cars first came to the game in the Joyride update, it was really fun, especially because Epic removed all the other cars on the map so we could just hop into any vehicle we saw. Like I said, fun, but undrivable cars were always a great source of metal in the game. When they were removed, it was fine because we could just drive regular cars instead, but now the unusable cars have returned, and worse than ever. Not only are they undrivable, but Epic added a wheel cap on them, so mining them only gives us 2 metal per hit. Like, what's the point of even having these on the island if we can't drive them and we can't farm them? It's still a problem, but the reason it's coming in as an honorable mention is there's a way to fix it. You can do this by either turning the cap off or just letting us pay gold or mats to repair the cars. It's a cool idea, I'd really love to see this happen, but now it's time for our number 1 spot, which is the Quibby Event. If the name doesn't ring a bell, it's because we had one of the most underwhelming crossover events in Fortnite history this year, and no one cared because it absolutely sucked. This random video subscription service that no one used came into Fortnite at Risky Reels and began playing TV shows that were just kind of poorly executed. It kind of was an exciting idea having TV shows playing at Risky Reels, but Quibby really dropped the ball on this one. I gotta admit, it's probably the single worst crossover that Epic has ever done with another company, not to mention the fact that Quibby, the people that they collab with, literally went bankrupt and shut down a few months later. I gotta say this though, I'm not even mad at Epic Games for doing it because they got that bag. Like, why wouldn't they do it? But anyways, click on screen right now to check out this next video. This has been Tommy, and you're watching Top 5 Gaming.